remember waking up in an operating room. I have no memory of needing an operation, come to think of it. And I have no memory of anything before waking up. I got up and found that nothing but blackness spaced out beyond the operating light that was hanging above me. I felt different somehow. The skin on my ears felt stretched to the point of close to ripping, and I felt short. Somehow I felt that I was taller before whatever had happened to me. But, of course, I wasn't able to explain this past a mere hunch that I had. I was in pain, though, and no one was around. I began to panic. Why was it dark? Why is nobody here? Had I been kidnapped? Experimented on? One thing was for certain. This was not a hospital. If it was, I would have seen someone by now. I looked to the left and saw something. A shimmer in the darkness. Something shiny and metallic. I reached up for the light and turned it toward the shining object. A mirror. I couldn't see myself in it from this distance. And the light was shining in my eyes, so I decided to move closer to the mirror. The fall seemed much higher than it should have been. I was definitely inhumanly short. And according to the stitched scars on my arms and legs, it appeared that the surgeon's intent was just that. But why? I must also note that by the look of the stitch work that had been done, it was not a professional that had done this. The stitches did not close the wounds completely, and it looked like they were weaved with normal sewing thread. The skin was also infected and swollen. I was in so much pain. I felt like my arms and legs were going to fall off. I was barely able to walk. Well, I really wasn't able to walk either. I hadn't really gotten used to my shortened legs, so it was more like waddling. I waddled toward the mirror. And when I approached it and saw myself in the mirror, I shrieked in horror. I couldn't have been more than 3 feet tall. I was incredibly thin as well. So thin that I could see my ribs all the way up to my collarbone. My ears were pointed high above my head. And again, the skin around the bloody mess of stitches was swollen and infected. The only thing that seemed normal about me anymore was my hands. The only thing that seemed normal about me anymore were my hands. As soon as I looked up again, I saw the one responsible for transforming my body into this atrocity. A severely obese man in a fur coat and pants, dyed with blood, and a hat made the exact same way. His face was wrinkled and covered with a massive scraggly beard. His teeth were yellow, and his teeth were yellow and rotten, and his breath smelled like death. Before I had time to run away or do anything at all, He injected me with some sort of chemical that made me instantly fall flat on the ground. The last thing that I saw before everything went black was the sick, twisted monster of a man laughing. When I woke up again, I was in a tiny bed tailored for my size. I was still in pain and nearly freezing to death. The blanket provided no warmth whatsoever, and the only thing that was keeping me warm was my hatred for the old man that obviously had done this to me. I looked around my small room and saw some clothes hanging near the door. Finally, something to wear. It was an outfit, much like the old man's, only green and with clog-like work shoes. Why was I here? What did that old man want with me? Why did he do what he did to me? I heard a beating on the door. A familiar laughing filled my ears. I quickly looked around for an escape, but there were no windows, no vents. There was nothing. He was going to be inside in seconds. The door was about to give in. And before I had time to even hide under the bed, the door swung open. Who are you? What do you want with me? Before I had time to react, I was thrown into a cold, dingy, dirty room filled with people just like me. Some were young, and some looked older than me. Some were even kids. And I realized they were all wearing the exact same clothes as me. They were building toys, all kinds. Dollhouses, trains. God, some of them were even building electronic items like computers. And they all had scars like mine. A ring around their arms and legs. Some of the younger ones still had stitches like mine. It was in that moment that I realized what I was. I was the man in the red suit's servant, destined to build items for him, to deliver to all of the good boys and girls. Did you really think that your only punishment for being bad was going to be a bag of coal